Well, Gauteng is notorious for taxi-related violence. A two-day provincial summit will address this and other issues that are affecting the industry. Exactly what is on the agenda? We join now in the studio by Gauteng Roads and Transport MEC Jacob Mamabolo. Ndate Mamabolo, good morning. Thank you very much for coming through this morning.
Good morning to you, and thanks for the opportunity.
Are you ready for this conference? I mean, it looks like it's a very important summit.
Let me firstly acknowledge and thank you for the opportunity. I must say I'm deeply delighted and very much happy that in this very early stage of the sixth administration and just following our premier State of the Province address, we're having the summit with the minibus taxi operators. And the critical question before the summit is precisely the issue we're raising. We are seeing a renewed increase or spate of increased violence affecting the taxi industry. Since I became MEC, I have already visited about 4 families where leaders of these various taxi associations were killed, and the last one was just yesterday. So what the urgent question we need to deal with now is to bring to an immediate end the rate at which people are dying in this very important industry. Are you hoping
the summit to assist to bring in, and you need to understand the causes of this thing? What is really behind? Why do we see this thing happening now of violence?
That is precisely the question, because the assumption I'm working on is unless and until we know the real root causes in their order, we will not be able to deal with the violence. And this industry, for example, the number says about 67% of people nationally depend on this mode of transport. It is the most less subsidized and supported at about 0.5%. So it is very much important that we look at 2 things. One, law enforcement to bring violence to an end. But secondly, we need to incentivize the sector, because law enforcement alone apparently is not working. We need to look at what are the other things that we can put on the table to incentivize the industry to work in the most efficient and effective manner, because our economy depends on this mode of transport.
What is the view you are getting or sense you are getting from the taxi industry itself? Are they ready and willing to put their weight behind your efforts to bring peace?
Last night, I had a dinner with them as part of the preparations of today and to set the stage. One of the things that came out last night, and the big plea I got, was the taxi industry feels that as government we are not providing the necessary leadership to them as a sector. For example, they feel that if we were to more formalize this sector, because currently it's self-regulating, informalized, there are no proper governance structures in place. And as you'll agree with me, once you put governance in place and is sustained and is managed with the highest level of dedication and commitment, you have won 80% of the factor. So one of the issues we agreed upon last night is that we will need monthly meetings between myself and the 2 key associations, which is Santago and NTA. So on a monthly basis, we need to meet to provide leadership and guidance and make sure the decisions that we will be making are implemented.
Now, part of this efforts you are making now, because we understand the critical role that the taxi industry is playing in public transport or in transporting people to from home and work and stuff like that, is the modernization, and I think that's your theme, the modernization of the taxi industry. But that can only happen if there's peace.
So in modernizing the taxi industry, over and above leadership and governance, through full attention to the sector, we also need to appreciate that technology in the country and all over the world has advanced. For example, we will not be able to manage this sector better until and unless we know, through smart modern technologies, how many taxis do we have? How many operating permits have we issued? To who? And what are those vehicles? So there are a number of variables pertaining to owner, the car, the operating permit, the route, which we need to integrate and see from one single point Only in that way can we talk about, okay, if there's an issue about the subsidy of this sector, we must know in rands and cents how much it comes to, and to whom must it go to, and until and unless we have cleaned that data, we have got accurate, reliable information about the taxi industry, we then won't be able to make an intervention. So the critical issue here is we need them to support us to say, let's look at just the associations. Let's look at your members. How many are they? Where are they? And let's look at what your exact financial requirements are. So in that case, through reliable and consistent data and information, can we put our finger on control on top of the problem.
Okay, if you were sitting here on the 26th of July, a day after the summit that's starting today's 2 days, and I say to you, give me 3 things that have making you confident about its success and the way forward. What would it look like?
The first one, full support that the provincial government must do everything in its capacity to investigate the root causes of taxi violence, and they say we will cooperate as the taxi industry to support that process. Number 2, introduce smart technologies to deal precisely with the statistical data and information about this industry. If they were to agree that we must build database systems that will make us know the real information about the sector, I'll be very much happy if they can support that. We also need to regulate the taxi association. So that's part of the governance and leadership of this sector. We need to know who are the leaders of the taxi, of the industry, the associations themselves. There are so many breakaway groups. There are so many things that are happening there that we're not able to, or that we need to pay attention to. So if they were to agree that let's work on just stabilizing data and information about who. So these 3 critical factors for me, I think will be able to make us bring other incentives into the sector to see how we can modernize it.
Okay, I'm just going to summarize quickly as we end, Ms. Mamoru. Thank you very much. So it's stop the violence, let's embrace technology and see how we modernize and improve the statistics about this industry so we can understand it, and improve governance.
You have it. I think you have summed up the resolutions of our summit, but the challenge is for them to adopt and endorse exactly what you are saying. Those 3 factors will make a high impact.
And then go on and implement them. Thank you very much. Gauteng Roads and Transport MEC Jacob Mbabulo on his way now to this 2-day, very important National Taxi Summit.